That's correct.
Freeze! Don't move! Why do you have such exhibits in your possession? You are under arrest for possession of human parts dead.
Cops discover bodies in man's trunk during traffic stop. The night was quiet. The kind of quiet that makes every little sound feel louder. Tires humming on the asphalt, crickets hiding in the grass at the roadside, a cool breeze moving across the dark stretch of highway. For Officer Daniel Cole, it was supposed to be another long night of routine patrol, a shift he had done hundreds of times before. But what he didn't know, what nobody knew, was that tonight, something unspeakable was riding in the trunk of a passing car. Something that would turn a routine traffic stop into one of the most horrifying discoveries in the department's history. If you are getting any value from this video, click the subscribe button so you can stay updated when awesome video like this is uploaded on this channel. Also, tell me where you are watching from in the comment section. I really appreciate your massive support. Thanks a lot. It began with something simple. A car drifting ever so slightly between lanes. Not erratic enough to scream drunk driver, but unusual enough to raise suspicion. Officers are trained to trust their instincts, and instincts were telling Officer Cole to take a closer look. He flicked on his lights. Red and blue beams cut through the night, reflecting off the back window of a dark sedan. The car hesitated for a moment, then pulled to the side of the road. The stop seemed ordinary, nothing out of place. But ordinary was about to end. The driver. Behind the wheel sat a man in his mid-30s, neatly dressed in a plain red polo and jeans. Nothing about him screamed trouble. His license was valid, his car insurance up to date. He handed over documents with calm hands, steady eyes. But there was something strange, something Officer Cole couldn't quite put his finger on. His demeanor was too calm, too rehearsed, like he had practiced how to act during a stop. Most drivers fidget, they ask questions, they look nervous. But this man, he was stone still, answering only what was asked, offering nothing more. And then came the smell. At first it was faint, the kind of odor you might dismiss as garbage or spoiled food. But with the windows cracked and the cool night air moving through the car, it became sharper, stronger. It clung in the air, sour and heavy. It was the smell of decay. The officer's instinct. Police training tells you to follow procedure, but experience tells you to trust your gut. And Cole's gut was telling him something was terribly wrong. He asked the driver to step out of the car. The man complied without protest, standing quietly by the roadside, his face unreadable. No fear, no anger, just blank calm. Cole glanced at the rear seat. Empty, clean, too clean. For a man supposedly running errands late at night, the back of the car was spotless. But then, on the floor by the seat, he noticed it. A small, crumpled piece of cloth. Stained. Dark. Cole radioed for backup. Not because he had proof, not because of anything he could put in a report yet, but because something in his gut screamed that he was standing on the edge of something bigger, something darker. The trunk. When backup arrived, the night shifted. Another officer stood by, keeping an eye on the driver, while Cole walked to the trunk. The man's calm broke for the first time. His lips tightened. His eyes flicked toward the car, then back to the ground. Cole pulled on a pair of gloves. His hand hovered over the trunk latch. 1,000 thoughts rushed through his head. Drugs? Weapons? Stolen property? He lifted it slowly. They were too many. Groaning in the quiet night. Too full. The smell hit harder. That sour, unmistakable stench of decomposition trash bags was stronger now. Large, crawling out of the trunk and into the night air. Cole's garbage bags tightened. Don't usually raise alarms. His heart pounded in his ears. But these weren't ordinary. He reached into the trunk, pulled one bag closer, and tore it open. Inside was not garbage, not food, not anything that should have been in a trunk. It was human flesh. Pale, lifeless. A hand. Fingers curled. The nightmare unfolds. Bodies. Multiple bodies. Wrapped. Stuffed. Hidden in plain sight, inside a car rolling casually down the highway. The other officer stumbled back, muttering under his breath. Even hardened cops, men and women who had seen blood, violence, death, couldn't easily process what they were seeing. The driver didn't move, didn't fight, didn't run. He just stood there, expressionless, like this was all part of some plan. Backup was called again. Within minutes, the roadside was flooded with flashing lights. Sirens pierced the air. Radios crackled with urgency. The highway, once quiet, was now a crime scene. The driver was handcuffed, led to the patrol car. His silence was chilling. Not a word, not a question, as if none of it surprised him. The aftermath at the scene. Investigators swarmed. Cameras flashed. Evidence bags piled up. One by one, the black trash bags were removed from the trunk and lined up on the pavement. Each one heavier than the last. Each one carrying the weight of a life lost. Drivers passing on the opposite side slowed, their headlights sweeping across the scene, their eyes wide in disbelief. Nobody could quite grasp what had been uncovered. Officer Cole stood at a distance, staring at the bags. The smell clung to his uniform. The image burned into his mind. For years he would replay that moment. The trunk opening, the sight of pale flesh, the reality of what evil looks like when it hides in plain sight. Because this wasn't just about evidence. This wasn't just another arrest. These were people. Victims who had names, families, stories, all cut short, now reduced to remains hidden in a stranger's trunk. And the man responsible? He was only just beginning to reveal the darkness he carried. This was no routine traffic stop. This was the start of an investigation that would unravel secrets darker than anyone imagined. And as detectives dug deeper, they would uncover the twisted mind of a man who walked among neighbors, co-workers, and friends, while hiding death in his trunk. At the roadside, the night had erupted into chaos. What started as a traffic stop was now a full-scale crime scene. The driver, a man who introduced himself only as David Marlowe, sat quietly in the back of a patrol car, his hands cuffed, his face unreadable. For the officers, shock gave way to questions. Who was this man? Why did he have bodies in his trunk? And most importantly, how many more secrets was he hiding? The suspects, calm. What unsettled the police wasn't just the discovery of human remains. It was the suspect's reaction. He wasn't panicked. He wasn't aggressive. He wasn't even nervous. David sat there almost detached, staring out the window as if the flashing lights and frantic voices around him had nothing to do with him. Some officers described it later as inhuman calm, a stillness that didn't belong to someone caught in the middle of such horror. When questioned at the scene, his responses were short. "Yes, officer." "No, officer." No explanations. No excuses. Just an eerie compliance, as if being arrested was simply another step in a plan already written. The interrogation room. By dawn, David Marlowe was transferred to the county sheriff's department. He was booked, fingerprinted, and led into a cold, gray interrogation room. Detectives Alvarez and Jennings took the lead, both veterans, both hardened by years of chasing criminals. Yet, neither had ever sat across from someone quite like this. The tape recorder clicked on. The red light blinked. Detective Alvarez leaned forward, his voice steady. "David, you know why you're here. We found the bags in your trunk. We know what's inside. Do you want to tell us how they got there?" David lifted his eyes slowly. His voice, calm and almost polite, carried no emotion. "They don't matter anymore." The chilling responses. The room went silent. The detectives exchanged a glance. Jennings tried again. "Don't matter? Those are people, David. Someone's daughter, someone's son. You want to explain yourself? David shrugged. Just a small lift of the shoulders. Almost casual. They were already broken. I just finished what the world started. The word sent a chill through the room. The detectives pressed harder. Where had he found them? Why had he done it? Were there more? But David never gave direct answers. Only fragments. Phrases that sounded rehearsed, almost philosophical. The weak are forgotten. Pain is permanent unless someone ends it. They were better off silent. It was like talking to a wall built of riddles and cruelty. The investigation begins. While the interrogation went in circles, investigators outside the room were piecing together the puzzle. They ran David's name through the system. No major criminal record. A few traffic violations.